Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are painting a simple and sweet blue thistle, and today is day 21 of our 30 days of watercolor flowers, so let's get started. Now first, I like to make a really bumpy type cone with my bluish green paint, and I'm keeping white space so that you can see the details between all the little bumps, but it kind of reminds me of what like an actual blue raspberry would look like. It's an upside down raspberry in a sense. So you don't want too much white space, just enough to give the illusion that it's really bumpy and that there's highlights and shadows. And then we're going to add these fun little spikes. Now I'm really using very light pressure on the tip of my brush to create these little spikes that come off the thistle. And to make thistle spikes look even more realistic, change up the direction that the little spikes are going, curve some of them, keep some of them really straight. So just play around with their positioning to make it look really organic. They have a lot of spikes, so don't be afraid to just add them all in there, but we don't want them to just look like a blob of spikes. We want them to look separated enough that we can still tell that's what we're looking at. Now I'm going to paint another thistle over to the left, but it's going to be a little bit smaller. So if you look at reference pictures of thistles, their basic shape is exactly the same, but some are bigger, some are smaller, depending on how mature that specific bloom is. So I make a thistle spike that is way too long and way too thick here, but it's okay because we're going to cover it up with greenery. So I just get my paper towel to dab away the blue color, and then when we add the greenery, I'll show you how we're gonna fix it. So again, I created this little upside down blue raspberry type shape, leaving white space in the center and making it kind of a cone. And then I'm creating these really light and organic spikes. I'm having them go all different kinds of directions so that they look more realistic. If they're spread apart and all going in one direction, it really just looks kind of silly, right? So we need to have them overlapping and curved a little bit in some spots. So that is really it for the flower portion of the thistle. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple and fun, but it has such a dramatic effect and texture to any kind of bouquet or composition. So I'm using a brownish blue green type paint, keeping it really dark and muted. I'm creating these long stems that are a little bit curvy, connecting the thistles to each other. And then around the base of the thistle, if you look in a reference picture, they have these wild type leaves that are coming off the stem right where the flower and the stem meet. And then their leaf pattern is really wild and random and organic, and it's more towards the base without being all the way down at the bottom. So they have these wild leaves right here towards the end of the stem, but they do also have a lot of wild greenery just at the base of the thistle where it meets the stem. So after I get those initial strokes down, I continue to bring the greenery up and around the thistle because, again, if you look at reference pictures, it's kind of wild and all over, all the way around the thistle flower. And then I'm going through and adding some leaves to that smaller thistle area. I don't want to overcrowd where that big thistle is and has that beautiful greenery already. And then I'm going in and adding a few more details with a darker pigment of green. And now that we have practiced our thistle, I am adding it to my watercolor flower guide, and I love the simplicity of this flower, but also its ability to have major dramatic effects on any kind of bouquet or composition. The colors are amazing, the textures are just so great, and I hope you enjoyed this painting as well. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 22. Bye.